us for 3 years to go up there. So we all went up to Frisco, and I got back just in time before that car accident that closed I-70. I-70's closed in both directions, probably until tomorrow. So anyway, so I dressed like a monk, and it's closed from the tunnel to Silverthorne. So anyway, you know, Rich Wyatt, he's been an evergreen for quite a while. Rich, how long? Evergreen?
15 years.
15 years. And Rich and I really, and you think two guys with the name Rich, and both from New York, that we would have connected way before we really did. And I apologize, and I hope you apologize to me for the fact that you didn't introduce yourself sooner.
I'm sad I did.
But needless to say, you didn't work on my election when I ran, did you?
What's that?
You didn't work on my election when I
I
ran.
have a good reason why.
Oh. Let us know when you get up there, okay? Thank you. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna give Rich the floor and allow him to let everybody know who he is, where he came from, why he's here, and what his vision is for our county. I think that's very, very important. Because the thing is, unfortunately, in my humble opinion, it's an opinion only, and I try to be very, very tolerant. I married a gal that taught me to be tolerant, okay? I was never tolerant. And then majoring in psychology and then getting a master's in psychology, I tried to be tolerant. But anyway, so we've had some terrible leadership in this state, okay? Both on a local level, a county level, and a state level. And what we need to do is we need to work together as a united party. And I've been working on Rich on this one because he's where I used to be. And I appreciate that and love him for that. But the thing is, we need guys. In other words, I will support any Republican. I don't name call anybody. And that's the way I want it to be from now on. And I'm gonna push for that, and I'm old enough to be his dad. I'm not as big as him, but I'm badder than him, okay? And we're gonna do this. We're gonna work together to support Republicans. I don't give a darn if the guy only votes the way I vote 70% of the time, because that's 70% more than any Democrat's gonna vote. And we don't hear Democrats calling each other commies, and yet we call each other rhinos. And that's a word I never heard. And I grew up, my father was vice president of Teamsters, and he was a man that you wouldn't want to mess with, okay? And when he gave you a certain look, you knew it was time to back off. And I would always say, Dad, tell me, where's Jimmy Hoffa? And I would get this look. So I grew up in a Democrat environment. I grew up in the streets of New York. My family was NYPD. His was firefighters. His was FDNY. Those are truly the brave. Us, my family, they carried guns to protect themselves. So anyway, Rich, it's up to you, bro.
Thank you very much, Rich. I appreciate it. Well, guys, thank you very much for having me. And I apologize for that crappy pizza, because the pizza at Locals is true New York style pizza. It didn't come out of a microwave like this crap here. So go to Locals Pizza by Safeway, because it just so happens my daughters and I own it. So stop by there. I don't know why you're buying this stuff from the commies when you could get it from good old fashioned Republicans. All right, but let me go in. I'm going to go into, I was not going to do this originally, go into my whole history, but I'm forced to do that. Because the picture of me that we got sent out, which I'm happy about because it's a damn good picture, I'm going to tell you how that happened. Did you see the picture? What'd you notice about it?
You're in prison, John.
It's in my mugshot. So you're probably saying, that's interesting, and it is, and I'll get to that. But I moved out here in 1981 from the East Coast to go to gunsmithing school in Lakewood, Colorado, right by Davy's Chuck Wagon Diner. I went to gunsmithing school. I became a Wheat Ridge fireman in 1981. My grandfather was a fire chief in New York, and my uncle was a fireman in New York. And I had another uncle that failed the test, so they made him an NYPD. And hey, you like that, Tom? So he flew helicopters for him. So I came out here, I went to gunsmithing school, and I got on the fire department. I loved the fire department. It was fantastic. It was the greatest job ever. We had one of the best fire departments in the metro area, bar none. It's not there anymore. It's now called West Metro. And that's the conglomerate that's taken over everybody. And so I got into arson investigation, and I really liked that. What I liked about it was you could carry a gun. And I liked carrying guns because it was cool. So now I was a fireman, and I had a gun, and I liked it. It was a lot of fun. And we had a great time, me and the firemen. And at that time, back in the 80s, the cops and the firemen were one unit moving smoothly together everywhere you went. Today, the cops and the firemen in most areas don't even speak to each other too much. And that's not right. Just like the Republicans that don't speak to each other, it's not right. So I moved along and I did my stuff, and I opened up a gun shop at I-70, gunsmithing shop at I-70, at 38th and Harlan, called Gunsmoke. And I got things going, and that was my dream, was to have a gun shop. And my father told me, don't be an idiot. Go to college, become a lawyer, a doctor, something like that where you can make a lot of money, everything will be great. I said, listen, I've heard just about enough out of you, old man. What the hell do you know? And I said, I'm going to gunsmithing school. And I would not give up on it, no matter what. So finally, he supported it and said, all right. And so I came out here. I loved it. I loved Colorado. I loved everything about it. It was a cow town. People said to me, hey, look, and I used to drive for my dad, go down to the city, pick people up, take them to wherever he was having meetings or something like that. When I was 16, I learned to drive in New York City. So that's it. Once you got that down, you could drive anywhere, you know? And so I get here and these people said, yeah, be careful when you go down to the mousetrap, they got a lot of traffic. You got traffic? I'm looking around. There's no traffic in 1981 in Colorado like there is now. Nothing. I mean, traffic was like, there was 3 cars, you know, in all 3 of the lanes. And they were like, that's a lot. So I loved this place. I had a great time. And then I spent a lot of time there, and I just decided that for my gun business, which I was building up, and I wanted to have this big, huge gun shop and stuff. I worked for a couple guys. I did a few different things. I said, look, I need to get into the police department because I want to do this firearms training. So I thought I'll go to the police department for a little bit, and just a couple years, I'll get the academy, I'll learn a couple things, and then I'll get out of there. So I did 21 years at the police department. And when I retired or left, I was chief of police in the small town of Alma. I started out in the thriving metropolis of Aurora, and that was quite a thing, right? But along the way, I decided I wanted to be sheriff here in Jefferson County. So I went and took a class from those 2 people right back there in the room, John and Jean, about 150 years ago. And they taught a class, you know, in a room like this at the Jefferson County Headquarters, how to run for office, right? And so I got a bunch of guys together and we ran for sheriff. Anybody remember this? And we ran for sheriff and we lost by 84 votes. Can you imagine? 84. Now here's the beautiful thing about 25 years ago. That's not that long ago, running for office here in Jefferson County. Guess how many Democrats ran?
None.
Zero. None. They wouldn't even put their name on the ballot because they knew they had no shot whatsoever. They wouldn't even enter the arena with us. We had it wrapped up tight. It was wonderful, okay? This last cycle, we got the first female and a lot of other things, liberal, far left liberal, sheriff. Got her. We're stuck with her right now, but she did put a nice paint job on the cars. They look fancy, and that's nice. And we got that going for us, so they could never take that away. But we don't have law enforcement left in Jefferson County. The cops can't do anything. The DA's office won't arrest anybody. We got a liberal DA, Alexa King is the DA, and Reggie Marinelli is the sheriff. So the guy that beats me by 84 votes, I was furious about it. I couldn't believe it. I'm this close. There was 16 guys running. He was what you'd call the establishment or the liberal or the rhino candidate in the thing, and I was the far right conservative candidate. And then there was only 16 of us when it started running. And what happened was it got so diluted because all these other guys, it was tough to fight it out. But the machine of the Jefferson County Party that it was behind this guy. All the people, I didn't know crap about, you know, how to run a campaign or anything. I just threw my name in the hat. I got a bunch of guys together that were businessmen, had nothing to do with politics, and we ran a race. At the time, oh shoot, what was the guy's name, John, that was the chair, the lawyer that died recently up here in Evergreen, that was chair of Jefferson County. come on, you know who I'm talking about. I can't think of it. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
He was a lawyer, him and his wife.
Oh, Skewis.
Bill Skewis.
Skewis.
Yeah, Bill Skewis was the chair of the Jefferson County Republican Party. And after I lost, he came up to me and says, hey, Rich, you ran a phenomenal race. This was great. I can't believe that you came in second, that you got up, you beat every other guy here. People, Jim Congrove, people with experience, people that have been elected before. And he said, yeah, you know what, someday, Bill said, Rich, you're going to be governor. I said, I don't want to be governor. He said, what? I said, I've got no interest in being governor. I want to be the sheriff. You know why I want to be the sheriff? Anybody know? What's so great about being sheriff in Colorado?
Constitutional power.
You're the most powerful person in this county. You can do anything, go any place, and do almost whatever you want, unfettered and unstopped. You can stop the FBI, the IRS, the ATF from coming into your county. You can tell them you're not allowed to, and they can't come in without your permission. Now, you think that wouldn't piss them off? Had I been sheriff, they'd have found out, because I'd have said, hey, you can come anytime you want. I just need 90 days notice, a written idea of what you want to do, and I got this small $25,000 fee that we take as an application process, and then we'll let you know in 90 days whether you can come or not. We'll go ahead and send it in, right? Because sometimes the federal government, a lot of times, screw stuff up. Look at all the activities that they've done when we go back to Ruby Ridge with Randy Weaver, the Waco Branch Davidians, all the people that look at Lon Hariuchi. How many of you are familiar with that name, Lon Hariuchi? Okay, that's it, one guy? Lon Hariuchi was an FBI agent. He shot Randy Weaver's wife in the head with a .308 rifle. She was holding a screen door open and a baby in her other hand. Is that a threat to anybody in the world? Is that legal to kill somebody for? Absolutely not. My friend who lived up here in Evergreen was a FBI agent. He was there that day, and when he broke off with his four-man team, he said the orders they gave today to fire are illegal, and we're not going to do it. Okay, that's a man of steel. Okay, great guy. Greg Sexton. Anybody know him? Used to live up here. Wonderful guy. He testified to Congress. Lon Hariuchi should have went to prison for murder and Randy Weaver's wife, but it didn't happen because they charged him in Idaho. The federal government came, grabbed him out of Idaho, took him to federal court, dismissed the case. Tragedy, right? So we see these things going on, and that's some of the stuff I wanted to stop as sheriff. But that power, that authority that you have as sheriff is unmatched. I'll give you an example. In LA, Sherman Block was the sheriff. And the county commissioners came to him and said, hey, we're going to cut your budget. We don't like what you're doing. We don't like the way you're doing things. If you don't do what we tell you, we're not going to give you this money. And he said, I dare you to not give it to me. And they said, what? He said, if you don't give me the money, I'm going to arrest you for obstruction of justice, and you'll be sitting in my jail while I go get the money because you have no more power and control. They turned to their lawyers and said, hey, he can't do that, can he? And the lawyer goes, yeah. And so what do you think those county commissioners did? They handed over the money. So when I lost to a man named Russ Cook, who was a decent fellow. He was the chief of police in Golden. Anybody remember him? Anybody know him? He had a little problem. What was it? He was a drinker. He was a heavy-duty drinker. The day he beat me, he was so drunk he couldn't walk. Norma Anderson got up there and spoke for him because he couldn't speak. And what she did was a travesty, and it was a terrible thing against our party. And she should have never done that. Okay? And so she did it, and Russ won. And when he won, I knew he wasn't going to be able to handle it because he was great as chief of police in Gold because he just sat in the office and drank. Didn't come out and do anything. Nobody bothered him, And poor Russ Cook, when it got over with, I was one of his best friends because he knew I knew. And we talked about it. And Russ died. He drank himself to death. Okay, drank himself to death. After he crashed his police car into his house while he was sheriff, Ted Mink went down there and pulled him out of the car and covered up the crime. And Russ got, the county commissioners went to him and said, hey, you got to quit. And the reason they said you got to quit, the three county commissioners, all three Republicans, by the way, because remember back in the day, no Democrats had a shot. Now it's all three Democrats, and they're very, very harsh on us. They just took away your TABOR. Does everybody know that? Yeah. Your TABOR refund's gone. They lied about it, and people bought the thing hook, line, and sinker. So when Russ lost, they told him to quit. They paid him to quit. He lost his job. He's very sad. and he ended up drinking himself to death, which was just a tragedy, just a tragedy. It's the, people don't realize how hard it is to run for office, to be in office, and to serve our communities. I mean, they attack you, they say terrible things about you. Some of them are even true, you know. They said Russ was a homosexual. They said, when they said that on the campaign trail. They said Russ was a homosexual. They said I was never a fireman. All these things, Russ was never a homosexual. You know, I wanted to win, but I'm not going to say he's a homosexual to win. And, you know, not being in the fire department, all you had to do is walk over there and check it out. Who was it that said it about us? Jim Congrove, another Republican, right? Remember Jim?
Yeah.
Jim, yeah, I know. Yeah, Jim was the one putting out all these things. So guys, when we talk about the unity, like Rich talked about there, we need to get to that point. Anyway, so I keep moving on with life. And, you know, I didn't make it as sheriff. And I got this gun shop going in Wheat Ridge that's killing it, called Gunsmoke. And we are making a lot of money. My dad said, you'll never make any money in this business. But I wasn't making the money I wanted. So I tried to figure out a way to really get to making some big bucks. Because, you know, my wife and kids, they wanted to fly around in private jets and ride on yachts. You know? And now why did they want to do that? Why do you think they want to do it? Because I told them to be freaking cool. And so I was striving to get to that stuff. And lo and behold, I sold a TV show concept to Discovery Channel called American Guns. And we did 2 seasons, and it was about our business. And our business blew up. We sold so many t-shirts and hats. We had people visiting Wheat Ridge, Colorado from all over the world. It aired in Japan. It aired all over the place. Mexico, Italy. And you remember John Medved that had Medved Chevrolet? John calls me and goes, Rich, I'm coming out of the shower. I'm over here in Rome going to a thing, and there's your ass on the TV. And I'm thinking, I can't let Rich look at me. I don't have any clothes on. And he says, but you're speaking perfect Italian. You speak Italian? I go, no. I don't know how they do that, John. It's magic. And so we got this TV show. We made a lot of money. Everything was going great. And I became a regular contributor on Fox News. Okay, any of you ever watch Fox News? Yeah, good. Okay, so I got on there, and how many of you remember the fast and furious thing that happened here when they passed some gun laws and they let Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Eric Holder let these guns leave the United States? They forced these gun dealers to illegally sell these guns, and the guns were sold to the cartel. They went into Mexico, and that's where the problem started. They're not allowed by law to let them go into Mexico. But they let them go, and a whistleblower from the ATF told the truth, and it all came out. Then these guns came back into the United States with the cartel running them, and they killed a Border Patrol agent by the name of Brian Terry. And this really made me mad. So I went on and said there's a couple guys that need to go to prison for this, and they should go to prison right now. They're guilty in this country of first-degree murder because they allowed those guns to go into the foreign country illegally, and then they came back and killed this Border Patrol agent by the name of Brian Terry, and that's first-degree murder. If 3 of us get in a car tonight, and you don't know what's going on, but you and me and Rich get in a car, and me and Rich hit a bank and rip them off, and jump in the car and take off, and you run somebody over and they die in that accident, you're guilty of first-degree murder, even if it was an accident, because you did it during the commission of a crime, even though you didn't know it was a crime, right? You're screwed. So that's the way the law works. And I guess Rockler was here last time. There's a great guy, and he would tell you the same thing, okay? And that's his bailiwick, put people in jail. And so I said these guys need to go to prison for this, and then all of a sudden, Barack Obama exercised what's called executive privilege, and as a president of the United States, and I know it's shocking, but he was the president. Did you guys know that? It's terrible news, huh? And so Barack Obama exercised executive privilege, and that shut the investigation down, closed it. It's over. There's nothing you can do. And so I went on TV and I said, because, you know, I say whatever I want, whenever I want to, and that's what Rich was referring to earlier. And I said, hey, the only reason Barack Obama would shut down the investigation, it's because him and Biden and Eric Holder are guilty as sin. And if you weren't guilty, you'd go, hey, look around all you want. Look at Trump on Russia collusion. Hey, look, you're going to put my family in jail and me? Look around all you want. What'd they get? Nothing. You know why? Because there was nothing. That's it. They got nothing. So they're just mad. So they didn't like that at all. As you could imagine, that pissed Barack Obama off. Anybody remember Wolf Automotive at I-70 and Kipling? Wolf Automotive put up a sign that says, "Where's the birth certificate?" Remember that? Is Wolf Automotive there anymore? Nope. So just down the street at 44th and Independence was Gunsmoke. Is Gunsmoke there anymore? Nope. So they went to both those businesses, and they came in with trucks and warrants from the federal government, and they loaded up all my stuff that I worked all my life to build. They took the guns, they took my personal stuff, they took the first gun that my dad gave me, they took the first gun that my grandfather gave me, they're animals, and they took all this stuff, they loaded up in a truck, and they drove away with it. Well, not too long after that, the Wheat Ridge charged me, the state of Jefferson County. Pete Weir, remember him?
Yeah.
Republican, supposedly Republican guy, charged me with a litany of crimes, okay? All kinds of felonies. Felonies, they did things on the TV, if you remember seeing press releases. If Rich Wyatt ever did anything to you, call us, we're getting them now. So put your name in and we'll help you get them, right? How many people did they get? Okay. So Wheat Ridge charged me with these felonies. I immediately went down and paid my bond. There's your mugshot, the picture that you guys put of me. Now, when I went in to get the mugshot, the lady said, okay, you know, they take you in and they dress you up in an orange outfit and sit you down in the chair. She said, hey, you're not allowed to smile. I said, lady, you're not going to get this smile off my face. I am not going to have a frown. I'm not going to look like a convict in this picture. I've been through this rodeo before, and I know this picture is going to be on the front page of the Denver Post tomorrow, and I'm not letting it be a frown. So you could sit there all day. She's walking around like a little wired clicker, trying to pretend she's not looking, you know. And she'd look over, and then she'd look. She said, "You can't have a smile." I said, "Man, I'm not leaving. Sitting in this chair is better than wherever you're going to send me next. So I'm going to sit here with a smile all day. I've been paid by big companies since I got on TV to go out and smile all day to take pictures with people, and I got paid a lot of money for it. $20,000 a day for doing that. And so I'm professional at it. You're not getting a picture of me with a frown, okay? Unless you come over and do something really mean to me, and I'm going to fight back." And so she took the picture, and there's the picture that you guys put in on my mugshot. Okay, so I got arrested by the Jefferson County, and then about a year later, the feds finally charged me with about 13 or 16, I'm not exactly sure, more felonies, okay? So I go to the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. How many of you were at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds when Trump spoke? Where the hell were the rest of you? 2016, you guys didn't go watch Trump, the greatest president in the history of America, speak? Right here in Jefferson County? Crazy. Anyway, so I'm in the front row in the VIP section, and Sheriff Schrader's there, and Pete Weir's there. Pete Weir had charged me with about 15 felonies, right? And my two little daughters are little. They were about 7 and 8, 6 and 8 at the time. And they're very smart little girls, you know, and they're politically savvy. And I said, "Hey girls, would you take a picture of me with Mr. Weir here, please?" "Yeah, Daddy." So they took a picture. And I said, "So Pete, how's it going?" And he said, "Good. What's your name?" I said, "Rich Wyatt." And we shook hands. He goes, oh, how's your federal case going?" I go, "Well, my federal case is going just fine, but I don't really care about that. I'd like to talk to you about why you're prosecuting me for something I never did. You said I stole guns from these people. That's a total flat-out lie." He said, "Well, Rich, you know, we just got orders, and we got to do what we're doing, and we got to get through this stuff, and don't worry, it'll all work out." I said, "That's not the answer I want to hear. What you're doing to me is terrible. It's disgusting." Okay? So next thing you know, the federal government charges me with 13 or 16 felonies. Now I got state felony charges, I got federal felony charges, and man, let me tell you, I'm in trouble. My business is closing down. I had a contract with Smith & Wesson. I designed a gun with Smith & Wesson. They paid me enough money every month to live comfortably for the rest of my life. And ATF went to Smith & Wesson and said, "Make one of those guns called the Wyatt Deep Cover, and we'll shut you down." So what do you think Smith & Wesson did? They stopped making the gun. They can't help it. They stopped making the gun. It was selling like hotcakes. If you got one, it's worth twice what you paid for it right now. Anybody have one? What kind of crowd is this? You don't go see Trump. You don't have the Wyatt cover.
Well, I didn't tell you this is a Democrat group.
That's a totally different speech, Rich. I just want to let you know, if you don't have 4 spare tires with you, you won't be driving home in your own car tonight, because I got them all slashed out there. You know, because I want the economy to build up by you buying more tires. So anyway, I got all these things going, and we were flying private and riding on yachts. You know, and had a beautiful home in Florida and homes all over Pennsylvania, doing great. And the government came in and they broke us down, man. People don't realize what the lawfare is. They don't know what they do to you. They cancel every single one of your credit cards. They close your accounts, take all your money. They leave you with nothing. You are penniless before they prosecute you, the federal government. Penniless. You can't get a credit card. You know when you can't get a credit card? You can't buy a plane ticket. Do you know when you can't get a credit card? You can't rent a car. Do you know these things?
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you get alienated from society. You are a pariah. They're putting these things out. It says Rich Wyatt's a bad guy. If he did anything to you, you know, all these things in the paper going on, all this stuff. They did 2 raids at my shop, twice. The IRS did one, then the ATF did one. 2 raids at my shop before I was ever arrested. Came in and just took guns. They loaded up all the guns, took them out. The lady that said I stole a gun said I stole a gun that was worth $140,000. It was serial number 37 of the Colt Single Action Army, which is the cowboy gun you've seen in every movie, been made since 1873, currently still being made today. This was serial number 37. But there was a flaw with the gun. It wasn't really what it seemed it was, because records weren't the same back then. And so the gun wasn't worth nearly as much as she thought it was, right? It was only worth about $10,000. But the big charge was me stealing that gun. Now, how did they get the gun? Because they had it in evidence at Jeffco. How did they get the gun back if I stole it? Because I'm charged with stealing that gun. But they had the gun. How'd they get the gun? It was in my shop for sale in the cabinet. And they charged me with theft. So when I went to court, I walked in, no lawyer, and I said, Your Honor, I would like to, hey, how you doing?
Hey, Rich.
Nice to see you. I said, Your Honor, I'd like to go to trial today. And she said, what? Judge Tamara Russell, excellent judge. I said, I'd like to go to trial today. I don't need a lawyer, I don't need anything, because I didn't steal anything, and I got proof. She said, what's your proof? I said, the police report. The police report shows they picked up the gun in my store where it was for sale, or she gave it to me to put on consignment. I did nothing wrong. I've complied with the law. I want to go to trial. She turns to Scott Story and says, Mr. Story, are you prepared to go to trial today? He said, no. I said, well, then what'd you charge me for? Let me go out of here. Judge, I didn't do anything wrong. Let me leave. So she said, well, this is really a predicament, Mr. Wyatt. I said, it is. She said, well, we're going to give them a little time to prepare their case and take it to trial. I said, well, Judge, and I'm probably the only guy that ever got this. I said, let me tell you one thing, Judge. I don't agree to the terms of the bond. I mean, I was allowed to leave because I paid a $50,000 bond, cash bond, to walk out. Gave 50 grand, okay? I said, Your Honor, I don't agree with your taking my gun rights away from me when I've not been convicted of a charge. I've asked that you go to trial with me today. They refused to do so. So I can't get my trial, but my rights are being denied when I have not been found guilty. And in this country, Your Honor, I believe we're innocent until proven guilty. She said, that's right. I said, so I refuse to accept these conditions of bond that I can't carry my gun. She said, Mr. Wyatt, very well spoken, you can carry your gun. People couldn't believe it. I walked out of the room and Jeff Schrader's boys walked up and said, give me your concealed weapons permit. So I said, I don't know where it is. They said, give it to us. So I gave it to them. Now, so I couldn't carry a gun. You think that stopped me? No, it didn't stop me. I'm facing a lot bigger problems than that, but I'm not going to not carry my gun. So guys, what happened with the state case? Anybody know? I beat every single charge. They wouldn't even prosecute me. They said, Rich, plead guilty. Finally, they said, to one misdemeanor charge of your choice, and we'll drop all the felony charges. I said, absolutely not, Mr. Weir. I am going to trial, so when I win and I hear not guilty, I can sue you for what's called malicious prosecution, because you know you have no case against me whatsoever. No case. Then the feds came. Now there's a big difference between federal court and local court. So when I went to the federal court, the prosecutor, a nice Christian woman named Sunita Hazra, just joking about the Christianity part, and she said, Rich, we have a 98% conviction rate. You cannot take this to court. I said, 98%? And she said, yeah. I said, so you're saying I got a chance? She didn't like that at all. That's that New York attitude of, you're not getting me. Most small businesses, what do they do when they open? Anybody ever had one? Small business? Did it make it?
It's making it.
It's making it. Congratulations. What is it?
Massage.
Massage. Where?
You're never ring.
What's the name?
Grounded Massage Plus.
What is it?
Grounded Massage Plus.
What is it?
Grounded Massage Plus.
Grounded Massage Plus. Where is it?
It's on, it's over by the, what's the name of the park?
It's
Meadow.
right below Elk Creek
Okay.
Assisted Living.
Elk Meadow, yeah. It's
Oh,
over by
okay.
Right
Elk
off
Meadow.
Elk Meadow.
All right, good. What's the phone
frontage
number?
road.
303-907-4829.
4829. Go to her business. She needs the money and she's a Republican. You are a Republican. You're not an inflector coming in here trying to get us.
No, I'm not in effect.
Okay, so go to her business. Help that business. How long you been in business?
Since 2012 here. in
Great, you're making it. You're done. You're going to make it. You passed the hard time. You're going to get by unless they throw the China virus at you again. Okay? So, guys,
I survived the China virus.
good for you. Congratulations. That's hard
My
to do.
clients like me enough, they paid me to not come in.
That is spectacular, you know, and pay them back now because they deserve it. So, guys, we got to support these small businesses that are run by Republicans, especially in our area. And so, the federal government said, you know, there's no possibility. If you take this to court, we'll put you in jail for the rest of your adult life. And I said, okay, well, I'm not pleading guilty to stuff I didn't do, so it's not happening. So I'm going. You can either drop the charges, or I'm going to trial. So I went to trial, and it was a 2-week trial. And just like our friend Mike Lindell's in right now in Denver, I was down there Monday at the trial with him, and I sat through 2 weeks of trial. And you think you get a fair shake because the jury is going to make the decision. That's not true. The reason it's not true is because the judge, and I don't want to mention her names, but her initials are Chief Justice Marcia Krieger, is a terrible wretch. A filthy, nasty, disgusting wretch. She's a horrible person. Horrible person. Okay? She wouldn't let evidence in. She just said you can't talk about it. You're not allowed to. How come? I said so. That's it. That's what they're doing to Mike Lindell. I just watched them do it to Mike Lindell. Do you know about Mike Lindell?
Yeah.
The My Pillow guys get sued by Eric Comer. Eric Comer lived in Colorado. There's a videotape. Look it up. He crashed his car into a building, backed up and drove away, and ran in his own bar and started drinking. And he came out, and there's video of him saying, no, I didn't crash the car. I don't know what you're talking about. And now he's suing Mike Lindell, and they expect us to believe him. That judge doesn't want to let that information in the video of him lying about crashing the car. And he got convicted of crashing the car. Okay? So why won't that judge let that in? It goes to his character, doesn't it? See, and all they got to do is if Mike Lindell's got the right lawyer, that lawyer's to say, Mr. Comer, have you ever lied to law enforcement in the past? No, I haven't. Fantastic. Now the video comes in because it's to prove that he was a liar on this, but the judge on his face won't let it in. So you'd be shocked at the things you're doing. You know how you have a search warrant? What does it have to say on the search warrant? Everybody knows this one.
Has to specifically describe the thing to be seized or the person to be arrested.
And the place
And the place.
to be seized, okay? I had 2 buildings, 2 different addresses, 4370 Iris and 9690 West 44th. They had a search warrant to search 9690 West 44th. All the stuff they took was out of 4370 Iris. I got them, hands down. I've served warrants with the feds. I got them. I walk into court, tell it to the judge. The ATF and the IRS admit it, that they did it. And you know what the judge said? That's just a simple error. I'm going to let that go. What? Well, Your Honor, this thing with the taxes, it was a simple error. I meant to pay it. You know, I really didn't want to, but I was going to do it. Do I get the break of a simple error like they did? No. If that would have been a warrant that I had issued that we'd have gone on in Aurora, I can tell you right now, it's called Fruit of the Poisonous Tree, every bit of it would have been thrown out. It's not possible. They lied, and the reason we know they lied, and the proof that I had, was again, their proof. The second warrant they came on, they listed both addresses. So I said, look, if the ATF could figure out this, how come the IRS couldn't? And the judge said, too bad, I'm not letting it in. You can't bring that to the jury. Disgusting. So anyway, I go through this 2-week trial, and the jury finds me guilty only of 2 felony counts. One, of filing a false tax return, which, by the way, how many of you do your own taxes? Anybody? Okay, I don't do mine. I pay a guy. What's that guy called? CPA. He signs the thing. And why do we hire him? Because we have no idea what we're doing, right? And so the jury, I was very clear with the jury. I said, I didn't even read that crap. I go in there and there's these little arrows, and I open up to that page and I sign it, and I walk out and I send in a check. That's it. Tuda paduda, I'm done. The jury found me guilty of that one felony and another felony called conspiracy. Conspiracy is a crime that I talk to other people about a crime. That's what that charge is for. Now, I was the sole indicted person on that conspiracy. So who could I have talked to?
Yourself, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So I get put in jail, 6.5 years in prison. I went to Denver City Jail for 1 year. I went to Inglewood, Colorado, Oklahoma City, El Rito, Oklahoma, Beaumont, Texas, Leavenworth, Kansas, and back to Inglewood, Colorado. You know, this is in 4 years. I filed an appeal, and I won. We proved that the judge, Marcia Krieger, the Chief Justice of the 10th Circuit in Denver, Colorado, and the prosecutor, Sunita Hazra, lied to the jury to secure my conviction. The federal government agreed. They said that he's right. We don't think it was a lie, we think it was a mistake. But it wasn't the truth. And so they had to let me out. So what did they do? They came down here, they brought me back to Inglewood, Colorado. They charged me with a crime I'd already beaten of illegally selling guns. They charged me with that crime. And they charged me with the same crime again. Now, does everybody know, did you ever watch Perry Mason? What is it called? Double Jeopardy. So I said, double jeopardy. They said, no, it's not double jeopardy, it's a different gun. I said, okay, well, there's another thing in the rules that says you must charge everyone with everything from your investigation at one time. You're not allowed to save a charge in case the guy beats everything to come back and hit it with him again. Well, they have these phones in the jails, right? And my wife is dying because my little daughter, Brooke, got beat up at Marshdale Elementary because the parents, the leftist parents, said your daddy's a terrorist. And the kids beat up my daughter. She's got a permanent scar on her face. My family was ostracized by people. The breadwinner in the home was gone. We had no money. The ATF kept coming to my house after I was in prison. For what? Harassment. Knocking on the door, scaring my kids, scaring my wife. They're animals, these people. This is the lawfare that goes on in the United States today. Animals. They stole things. They violated court orders, the federal government. Okay? Four years after being in prison for 6.5 year sentence, my wife talked to me on the phone and said, I don't know what she was thinking, but she said, you've got to get out. Your oldest daughter's getting married. Our son's in trouble. And I can't hold this family together anymore. I cannot do it. And you need to get out. And I was thinking to myself, what the hell are you talking about? I mean, you want me to just break out or choke somebody and run away, get the keys? And I mean, what like, you think I got control over being, you think I can get out of here? Because I'm going to tell you right now, anybody here ever been in prison? It's not like Motel 6, it's a little worse. Okay? It's a little worse. All right? So the next day, I get a call, my lawyer does, from the prosecutor, and they said, hey, Rich, if you plead guilty to this one gun charge that they just charged you with, they'll let you out of jail today. I said, okay, you got a gun to my head, where do I sign? And I signed, and I went to court, and I went with Judge Bremer, a good judge, and I said, Your Honor, I'm going to plead guilty to a charge here, and I'm nervous about that. And he said, why is that, Mr. Wyatt? I said, because it's going to be perjury, because I didn't do it. He said, really? And I said, yeah. He said, well, Mr. Wyatt, I see your complaint. Hang on a minute, let me go look this up. He came back, he said, Mr. Wyatt, I promise you, on the record, you cannot be charged with perjury for this crime. I understand you're taking a deal to get out of prison. I said, thank you, where do I sign? And at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, at Kipling and Quincy, they sent me out the door with a pair of sandals, a size 600 waist pair of pants that fit Fat Albert, a size medium t-shirt, and a plastic bag full of all my shit I'd acquired for 4 years. And COVID was going, 2020. And I walked out and the bag ripped. They told me to go to the Walmart down the street. They said, it's just a couple blocks. It's 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody's allowed to come on the facility because of COVID to get you out. So I got my stuff and I came home. Now guys, it was very difficult for me. I've been 3 things: a fireman, a cop, and a gun shop owner, gunsmith, for all my life. Once you're a convicted felon, you can't be a fireman, a cop, or a gun shop owner. So what job could I get?
Government.
Huh?
Government.
Government job? But there's only one problem.
Governor, now we got the governor.
There's only one problem. I'm not a thief, so I can't work for the government because I got to steal and rob and take everything that you work so hard to get. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out what to do. It was a very difficult time. It was very challenging. My family's in turmoil. And then I thought, and I made a huge mistake. I said to my friend Peter Boyles, you guys know Peter Boyles? I said, Peter, there's nothing else that can happen to me now. I've been through the worst that you can ever show, man. Let me tell you something. You're a cop in prison. It's not an easy job. You fight for your life on a regular basis. It's not simple. It's not easy. Who's the worst person in the prison?
The guards.
The guards. They bring in all the drugs, contraband, cell phones. They hate people like me because they know I'm going to rat them off. Right? The inmates hate you too. You're the most hated guy in there. Fortunately, they're stupid. So I was able to convince a lot of them it wasn't true that I was a cop. They believed me. I said I was a fireman. They fell for it. Only one guy ever figured it out the whole time I was in prison. He's dead. Anyway, so I get out, I'm looking for things to do. I thought it was going to be easy. I thought I was just going to be able to go right back and somebody's going to hire me. Well, COVID's going on, totally different world. All you people were wearing masks and staying away from each other. I thought I was on Mars. So what the hell's going on here? Nobody's talking to each other. Nobody's looking at anybody. No, I'm not wearing a mask. Screw you. What are you going to do? Put me in jail? Go ahead. I dare you. It took a long time, and I worked hard. Before I went to prison, I started a program with an organization called Tunnel to Towers. Anybody familiar with Tunnel to Towers? Raise your hand if you are. If you never heard of Tunnel to Towers, I need you to send a check into them for $1,500 tomorroor to amend for your sins. Okay? Tunnel to Towers is the best nonprofit organization in this country. 95.2% of the money that we raise goes to the cause. We build smart homes for veterans that are catastrophically wounded. No arms, no legs. We make you a house that you can live in and work with. Everything's controlled from your chair, from wherever and it's mortgage free. And we build it from scratch, from the ground up. We build you a big, beautiful home. Okay? It came out of September 11th when Steven Siller was a New York City fireman. He was off playing golf with his brothers that day. He saw what was happening with the towers. He ran over there, he got to the tunnels, and the towers were burning. The airplanes had hit, and he couldn't get through the tunnel, so he threw on 65 pounds. That bunker jacket, one of those helmets right there, a pair of boots and a bunker pants, weighs 65 pounds. He ran 3.5 miles in the hot sun on a September 11th day, and he ran into that tower when he's not getting paid because he's a fireman. Because cops and firemen are not cops and firemen because they're there to protect and serve. They're not cops and firemen because they get big bucks. They're cops and firemen because they're adrenaline junkies and they love doing cool shit that you guys can't do. Okay? I mean, roller coasters are fun, but running in a building bouldering is totally different. Going into a building when guys are shooting at people, it's a totally different level of adrenaline. Okay? And the towers collapsed and Stephen's body was never found. Died. His brother started this organization. So we built these homes mortgage free. Now, if a cop or fireman or first responder dies in the line of duty, we pay off the mortgage before the funeral. So the family, Frank Siller goes in there, gives them the deed to their house, and says your home is paid off, and that's one thing you don't have to worry about anymore. And so I volunteered, and then the most recent thing we do is we build homeless shelters for veterans. Today we're trying to eradicate veterans homelessness. At I-25 and Colorado Boulevard, we're building a 120 room unit that's going to house 120 people, and we're going to teach them how to get off drugs and alcohol, teach them how to get back in the workforce, and get back onto the street and get them doing some good stuff. That's what we're going to do. So I started a program with them because they called me when I was on TV and said, hey, every one of these veterans at Walter Reed Hospital watches you 3-4 times a day on just, because they rerun those shows like maniacs, And they said, would you be willing to help? I said, yeah, what do you want me to do? So we started a program where we flew the vets out in the morning to Jeffco Airport on a private jet, picked them up, took them over to Gunsmoke, took pictures, gave them hats, shirts, autographs, took them to the range, built adaptive rifles and guns so they could go out and shoot guns again, took them home, put them on the jet, had them in bed that night. And we've been doing that program for a long time with Tunnel to Towers. So I was very fortunate. One day I called him up and was talking to a guy about a fundraising idea, and he said, hey Rich, what are you doing? I said, construction. He said, you happy? I said, no. He said, you want to work for us? I said, yes. Took the job. That's what I'm doing now. Now I made this mistake. I told Peter Boyles, I said, nothing else can happen to me that's bad as what I've been through. And I know once you said Rod Blagojevich had been through terrible things. He has. He had it pretty easy in Englewood, Colorado. He was in what's called a camp. There's 4 levels of prison: camp, low, medium, and USP. And the 5th level, Supermax, there's only one. It's in Colorado. But when you go up custody, just one level, you're in big trouble. I went up level custody 2 times to a medium because Pete Weir had charges against me here in Jefferson County. So what do you think happened with the charges in Jefferson County? Pete Weir dismissed all the charges. He would not take me to trial. He would not do it because he knew I was going to win and I would sue him for it. And if I did, I would have yachts and boats and planes all again. I had millions and millions of dollars. You'll all be paying for it. And I'd be getting it in perpetuity. But he would not allow me the privilege of going into trial and beating his ass. But then the worst thing that ever happened in my life happened. My son died, 30 years old. And it's the worst thing that can happen to you. We're not designed to bury our children. And my family's never been the same. And we never will be. We'll get better each and every day. But we'll never be whole. Never again. My wife will never be the same person. My poor daughters will never be the same. Had I not gone to prison, my son would have died. Wouldn't have died. But I wasn't there for this important point in his life that he needed me. Because I had to go to prison for committing a crime that they said I committed that hurt nobody. That I really never committed. Never did it. I never committed a crime. A felony crime. I paid a guy to do my taxes. I don't know how to do the taxes. I still don't know how to do them today. We hired an IRS agent. He said I would have charged the accountant. So my lawyer wanted to use the defense. Hey, let's charge your accountant. I said, no, he's my friend. I'm not charging him. Not happening. So, a lot of things have happened since then. And I came back and matter of fact, I went to the Mountain Republican Club, right over here at the barn at Ron Lewis's place. We meet on the 3rd Tuesday of every month, and it's a fantastic meeting. Lots of you go there, okay? And I walked into that barn. It used to be the Mountain Republican Women's Club, you remember? They used to meet over here at the Stagecoach. And I walked in, and one of the beautiful ladies that was there came in. I just fresh out of jail. I got my little daughter with me. And I walked in and I said, sat down, and she came over. She goes, oh my God, Rich Wyatt. She goes, do you mind if I tell them your story, what happened to you? I said, no, I don't mind at all. So she told the story to those folks. And they got up and they were so beautiful and so welcoming to me. And here's the most important thing. When we walked out of the room, my daughter, who'd heard so many bad things about me, that I was a terrorist and I'm a bad person and I'm evil, she said, Daddy, those people love you. And I said, they do. Those are good people. And they know the truth. So now you know the truth too. So when you hear stories about me, you think, oh, this guy's a bad guy. I am a bad guy. It's true. You know, I've done some bad things. They never arrested me for anything, but I have done some bad things. I've beat some people to a pulp. I've done things to people that deserved it, but you hired us as cops, and at the time, that was the way police work was handled. Okay? And today, you'd go to prison for it. But back then, that was the way we handled things, and it really worked a lot better. So, as I'm coming back up in life, I decided to run for chair of the Jefferson County Republican Party. Because for the last years that I've been out of jail, it has run like crap. They haven't raised any money. They haven't elected anybody. I come out, and you guys, there's no Republicans running. All the Democrats are running. We didn't even run somebody for district attorney against Alexa King. Nobody. Zippo. Zero. Ed Brady, one of the greatest sheriff's candidates ever, ran against Regina Marinelli, who's a defund the police, anti-gun, Black Lives Matter lady, and they elect her. She didn't leave her house. She pulled a Joe Biden. She just stayed in the house, didn't go out. Ed went everywhere banging the drum, and then we elect her. It's impossible. It couldn't have happened. It's disgusting. Ed's got one flaw. What's the only thing wrong with him? He's a wonderful guy. What's the only thing wrong with him?
He's a nice guy.
White male.
He's too short, that little bastard. And, you know, if he'd have been a little taller, he could have made it. But he is a white male, and that's why.
He is a really genuinely wonderful man.
Oh, his family. I like his family better than him. You know, his daughters.
He came here and spoke to this group.
I get it.
We supported him all the way.
He's a great guy. Well, what does all the way mean? Because we didn't support him enough to get him across the finish line. And that's one of the things I want to talk to you about today. So now I'm the chair of the Republican Party. And when I became chair, anybody here a state, or a Jeffco's Central Committee member? One voter? That's it? 2 members? Okay. So did I get your vote? I did. Excellent. Thank you. I got yours, didn't I? Well, good thing otherwise. Okay, so when I got it, some people in the party attacked me and they wrote this brutal letter. How many of you read it? I mean, it talked about me. It was bad. Said I was all these things and said I applied for a pardon with Trump and Trump didn't give it to me, which is what we call total bullshit in legal terms. And, you know, because it never happened. Because as soon as Trump reads my pardon paper, what's going to happen? I'm going to get pardoned. And it's going to be happening very soon. Trust me. It's coming to a theater near you soon. And when I do, I am going to come unleashed, because I've been real temperamental lately because I'm careful, because I used to always have a pistol, you know, but now I don't have a pistol, so I got to be nice to some people. But once I get my gun back, I no longer have to be nice to any of you, all right? So they wrote all these terrible things about me, and I got up there and I said, guys, do you think that President Trump denied my pardon when just 3 days ago I was at Mar-a-Lago hanging out at his club having a great time with Eric and Laura Trump? Do you think the Secret Service would allow a guy like that in? Inside our party, people are writing bad stuff about people inside our party. I don't want to mention their names, Laurel and Westenheimer, but they're total and complete scumbags, pieces of shit. Because they do these things to people, and guys, we got to stand up and stop it. Now, I think the world of these folks back here, John and Gene. John was a representative, and they helped me when I first got started. They were the first people that I really interacted with, right? Now, I don't think we probably agree, because I'm a very far-right conservative on every issue. But do we agree on at least 70, 80, maybe 90? I don't know. You know? So what should we do? We should work together.
Amen.
To get the job done, to get Republicans elected. See, is there anybody in here that hates Donald Trump? I know you won't raise your hand because you're afraid of it. And you should be, because I will whip your ass. All right? Now, so what I'm saying is, do you hate Donald Trump? If you do, raise your hand. I love him. I'd marry him if I was homosexual. And so, but there's a lot of people out there that didn't like him, that still don't like him. I'm not asking you to marry the guy, just let him run the country for a while. See how it goes, you know? And so we got to stop this stuff. where we tear everybody down. Now, you're going to see a dichotomy with me here. Some people in our party are cancer, and they got to be cut out. They got to go. I'm sorry, they got to leave. And I'm just the guy to make them go. And I'm going to do it. And it's a short list, but I got one. Nobody in this room is on that list.
Not even
Well, Tom's on it. But that's a different list. Yeah. Now, we got to get rid of those people because those people are hurting us every single day because they're not here for any of the right reasons. They're here to make money, power, fame. That's it. If you're running for money, power, fame, go get a TV job, man. This is not the job for you. Okay? Politics needs to be like Donald Trump. He doesn't take a salary, $400,000 a year. Lord knows he deserves it. He's the best president we've had in the history of America. Better than President Washington, better than Lincoln, better than Teddy Roosevelt. I'm telling you right now. You might think I'm wrong, but I'm not. I'll argue with you. Anybody want to argue about it? Come on, Rich, give me a try. So, okay.
He didn't cover Reagan, Rich. Go ahead and tell
Well,
him.
Reagan.
Notice that.
Reagan was good, but he only made it because Oliver North. Because Ollie stood strong. No, he didn't tell me to do it. He told him to do it. I'm friends with Ollie North. I've heard the stories from behind closed doors. What a guy. Anyway, and Reagan was a great president, but he still was not as good as Trump. Just watch, just see what happens. So, guys, what do we do with the party? First of all, we got to support our party. We got to, yes, Rob.
And Rich, I think at this point.
That's enough. Shut up. I'm talking.
I think it'd be fair to mention that you've been supportive of guys that aren't with you on a lot of things, but because of the 70% rule, you've been consistent on that and supported them strongly when they run for office.
Thank you, Rob. 100%. Okay. And Rich, you're right. I'm not where you are, but I'm getting there.
You're getting there, bro.
I am moving.
I am so proud
I
of you.
am moving.
It's unbelievable,
Okay?
my brother.
And the reason I'm moving is because you guys gave me the job to do, and now I have to do the job. Before I could bitch about everything. Now I can't because I'm running it. Right? So I got to fix it. So how many of you know about Second Amendment Saturday? How come the rest of you don't know?
Because you don't communicate with us.
Bull. I send it out every Monday morning on the wire. How many of you get the wire? Every Monday morning for the past 4 weeks, you've gotten an ad for Second Amendment Saturday. Read it. Figure out what it is and show up. I don't care if you like it or you don't like it. Pay the $150 and get down there and go. And here's why. Because the cancel culture people on the other side called the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department and they called the Jefferson County Fairgrounds and they made 40 threatening complaints against us. And the Jefferson County Fairgrounds called us today and said, if you want to have your event here, you got to have 15 deputies, 1 sergeant, a SWAT team to protect the facility. Now, I've been in law enforcement a long time. I never even heard of somebody saying you got to have a SWAT team. Never even heard of that for private fundraising, okay? Our Second Amendment Saturday is to teach people that have guns how to protect themselves in a proper way. Not how to use the gun, not how to draw the gun, because I can't touch a gun. I'm a felon, okay? But I'm going to teach you how to interact with cops when you get contacted while you're armed. Whether you're at your home, your place of business, in your car, wherever you may be. We're going to teach you about how to deal with the mindset to mentally prepare yourself to use a gun for deadly force. If you haven't thought about that stuff, you're dead. Somebody's going to take that gun away from you and kill you. We're going to teach you that once you engage, what to do in the aftermath to survive. We're going to teach you mindset, mental preparation from my mentor, Colonel Jeff Cooper, the finest firearms instructor in the world, who happens to be passed away. He was a Marine, God rest his soul. And just that he brought us to the dance of firearms training. And so we're going to teach you these things for just $150. All the money goes to the Jefferson County Republican Party, and we need money. Why do we need money?
You can't win elections without it.
What's that?
You can't win elections without it.
We can't win, not just win elections. We can't get the people we need to get involved in our party. Who are those people I'm going after? I'm going after the youth. I'm going after the people between 15 and 21 years old. I'm not going to make the mistake that everybody else made. When TikTok got shut down, it shut down for less than 24 hours, I think. Okay? When it came back on, people were calling 911. Kids, my TikTok's not working, what do I do? I mean, my daughter's addicted to the thing. I take her to dinner, I'm like, put that thing away, what are you, out of your mind? You know? And anybody on TikTok? It's crazy, it's actually not bad, there's some cool shit.
I don't know what to do with it.
Huh?
I have, but I don't know.
You
what
just
to
flip
do
through
with
there
it.
and it automatically brings up
Makes
stuff
sense.
you
I'm
like.
bringing my daughter on to do my social media so she can do TikTok.
Okay, well, that's good. So, guys, this day is about us being able to get those kids, because here's what happened. When TikTok came back on, TikTok, which all the kids in America are watching. You may think they're not watching it, they're watching it. I don't care what you said. They're watching TikTok. It said, "Thank you, President Trump." He wasn't even president yet. He was president-elect, for turning TikTok back on. That opened the door for us. These kids are going, President Trump did this? Joe Biden shut it down? And Trump, I'm a Republican. I love TikTok. Thank God it was back on. I wouldn't know what to do all day if I didn't have my TikTok. Okay? So we got to seize the opportunity. See, the Democrats, they took over the media, they took over entertainment, they took over education. They did it a long time ago. This is not new. Okay? They've been kicking our ass for a long time. We in Jefferson County, I don't know what's going to happen in the state, okay? But we're here in Jefferson County. We can win. We can get this stuff back if we get out and meet the kids. We are going out. We got teams right now that have already started. Before school ended, they were going out to schools, getting in and registering kids. We're not allowed to tell them we're Republicans. But if you wear a red, white, and blue hat and a shirt that says something that looks awful Trumpian, and they know who you are, right? They know who's who in the zoo. So guys, we want to hire young kids to be interns in our office down there and teach them to be good Republicans. We want to be able to have events where we can have these kids come out for a night of fun at no cost to them and give them pizza, not that Domino's crap, Locals Pizza right by the Safeway in the shopping center on the way down to the lake, the best New York style pizza in the world, Locals Pizza, open 7 days a week from 11 to 7. Okay, now hang on, I'm not done.
Good.
Okay, so guys, this is what we need to do. We need to get you involved and we need to get your help, okay? Now, here's the thing. Us white-haired guys and gals, we're not getting it done. We need young people to go out and reach them. We need them to talk to them, you know? If we can get that accomplished, we will start to win again. But that's the way we win. That is the path for the Jefferson County Party. I'm cutting out the cancer, and I'm taking everybody in under the Big Ten. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it, you know. All I care about is you're here for the cause. If you're not, get out. Get out of my way, because I'm not slowing down. I'm not stopping. When this happened today, do you think we shut the project down? They said we got to have 20 cops there. Got to pay them. You know how much that costs? About $20,000 for one day. Okay, $20,000. Do you think we're going to do that? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to adapt and we're going to overcome and we're going to work this out and we're going to get it done. Today I got a call from the Sheriff's Department apologizing because they said I said, first of all, when did you people get this complaint? May 19th. I said, you're talking about 2 weeks ago and you're saying there's death threats against me and you didn't bother to give me the courtesy of a call? What the hell is wrong with you? I wish I could have gotten killed so my family could sue the crap out of you so we could get those boats, yachts, and planes. So guys, I really want you to help. I want you to come to Second Amendment Saturday on June 28th. Go to Jefferson County Republican website and sign up. You can do it right there, sitting in your chair right now. That will save you because you will not need 4 new tires on your car if you're signed up for that class before I walk out there and run the plates to anybody that didn't sign up and slash your tires. So look at the savings. New tires are $1,200. This is only $150. You got it made in the shade, as Fonzie would say. Okay? All right, guys.
You know, I gave him a bunch of crap a long time ago and said, you're one of the best self-promoters I've ever been around in my entire life. I said, my unfortunate thing about myself is I'm not a good self-promoter. But he did a great job, folks. And, you know, what we're going to give him is a Starbucks. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Boy from Brooklyn, the housing projects in Canarsie, okay?
I appreciate
and believe
that.
it or not, my grandfather owned a farm in Canarsie. Canarsie is a section of Brooklyn, okay? And my grandfather owned a farm there in the city of New York back then, which was the late 40s. They wanted that land to put a housing project on it. And I think Grandpa wound up with $500. And the guy that started Starbucks grew up in that housing project, and he did very well for himself.
Good job.
The other thing too is, from now on, any guest speaker that speaks to our club is an honorary member of our club.
Oh, thank you
So I
very
want you
much.
to know that. No dues, no nothing, honorary member. Okay?
Thank you very much, I appreciate it, I appreciate you, Rich. I appreciate you guys. And so, I got a couple more things to ask, I know we're out of time, but I don't care. How many of you went and signed up for the class right now? Anybody? 2 people?
I'm going through it.
All right, get some more, sign up. I don't just want you to sign up. Once you get signed up, I want you to bring 5 people with you.
Well, I have a question for
Yeah.
you. What about, everybody else here has a gun, I don't.
Okay, what, give me your
Can I-
wallet.
can I
Give me your
steal
wallet.
Well,
Well, there's shit you can do to stop it. No, but take it, I'm stealing it. It's a robbery.
No, no.
I'm a felon.
No, I actually.
I'm a criminal. Give me your money. You
I
have
have
no
a-
gun, you can't protect yourself, I know.
No. I have a client, just this last week, he's gonna teach me how to shoot a gun.
Okay,
And then I'll get
let me
it.
tell you one thing about this training. You don't need a gun. The self-awareness that will teach you of how to control what's going on. If you'd have been in Boulder, Colorado the other day when that guy was setting people on fire, if you took this class, you would not have gotten set on fire because you'd have gone the other direction. You'd have known how to get out of the way. People don't realize the problems that they face each and every day. And you don't think we got trouble here in Evergreen? We got homeless people coming up here. We got crime. We got theft is on the rise tremendously here. Go down to Home Depot, come out, no catalytic converter on your car. Right here in Evergreen, Colorado. Okay? So come to the class. Look, just give us the money and don't come. I don't care. But we need the $150, okay? To get, it's not a lot of money. That's like, one movie, if you can even find a movie theater that has a movie you want to see. All right? Now here's the last thing I want to pitch you on. Please go to t2t.org, Tunnels to Towers, look us up, check us out, and sign up for the $14 a month program. Next year's our 25th anniversary. We're trying to get to 1 million. We have 750,000 people that give $14 a month right now. That's our ask, okay? If you want to give more, call me up. I'll tell you what to do and where to go. We do wonderful things, and if you get involved and come see what we do, you will know that every dollar you spend is totally worth it.
I'm going to agree with him on this because, number one, Tunnels for Towers is very close to me because it's out of Staten Island, New York, the Sellers, okay? It's out of Newdorp, which is where I went to high school, and I'm not a major contributor, but I do write big checks to them.
So I'm going to give this right here to Rich. This is a Tunnels to Tower. Yes, sir.
Just a comment on Tunnels to Tower, which we both get to, but point being is that most of us here, if you're taking money or good money out of your IRA that you've retired on, you can use a qualified charitable deduction, which we do. It comes right out of your taxes, right off of your income, so you don't even have to worry about it. But it's a great way to give any charitable things that you like. Tunnels to Towers is one of the greatest
It is.
organizations.
It's
around.
phenomenal.
Thank you. He's 100% right. If you looked at President Trump's credenza behind his desk in the White House when he first came back into office, he had a little rack full of challenge coins. And that challenge coin with the tower standing in New York City was on the right-hand side on the lower part of that rack. It's gone now. He put a head of Abraham Lincoln on. I want the coin back. All right, not that I'm against Abraham Lincoln, I just like the coin there. And so, I don't know if you guys know about challenge coins, but challenge coins are designed for military guys, and that's where they started. Now everybody's got them. And Rich, I'd like to give you this coin right here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. You got any questions before I go?
Any questions? Three questions, go for it.
One of the problems we've had, particularly in this state, is with the voting machines. I don't know what Trump is doing, but those things need to be decertified.
All right, I'll tell you 2 things. Do people believe the elections are stolen?
Yes.
Okay, they are. They're definitely stolen. President Trump is working on it. There's going to be an executive order that comes out. He can only control federal. But the information that's out on Arapahoe County that's the most prevalent right now, and also Jefferson County, is that the casting of the votes that they have adjusted 2 or 3 times since it came out, we've got absolute proof, they say, that they lied. And they're going to show that, and we're going to get it out. I just was at a meeting on it last night. So Trump will probably sign an executive order that changes federal elections, but we've got to get rid of the mail-in ballots. They don't work. They don't work. Was another question?
I used to be the vice chair of the county. And what I watched was the registration going way off the rules for unaffiliated voters. What's your plan for trying to get those people back?
Unaffiliated voters?
Yeah.
I don't want unaffiliated voters back, I want Republicans back.
Okay.
Like, if they're not gonna come over to the Republican Party, I'm not worried about it. But we're gonna get them back, because most unaffiliated voters are disenfranchised
With both parties.
Republicans or Democrats, but most of them lean towards the Republicans. So we gotta go get them back. We gotta earn them back. We gotta stop this crap where we're fighting and tearing each other up and doing this stuff. We gotta get together. And guys, look, Democrats, they don't care who it is. They elected Joe Biden. They put Kamala Harris up and thought that was a legitimate candidate. Are you kidding me with that? Okay, and they got behind her, and they're going on, and they're saying Kamala 28. You can put Kamala on and anytime you want. She's never gonna win. She's too stupid to breathe. I mean, come on, this is a moron. So guys, we gotta get behind the people, and we gotta do the things. If you just sit around and come to meetings and go to this stuff, and you don't do anything, stop going to the meetings. Just stay home. Stop coming, because we don't need you at these meetings. This is no value unless you leave here and you do something. If you don't sign up for Tunnel to Towers, if you don't sign up for Second Amendment Saturday, if you don't give money to the Jefferson County Party, just stay home, because you don't really care.
And if you don't walk the streets, and if you don't knock on the doors,
Stay home. And for some of you, I get it. It's harder to walk the streets. You know, last time I saw Rich, he was wearing a dress and makeup walking the streets. All right, guys.
but he hit on me.
I know. Boy, was I surprised. He was good from far, but far from good when I got up. All right, one last question, anybody?
How do you sign up again?
Go to the Jefferson County Republican website. And as soon as you open it up, there's a link right there, press it, and you can sign right up for it. It's all right for Second Amendment Saturday.
And last and final thing is there's books on the table there. If you guys want to grab a book, you see something that you like, take it, okay? If you want to bring it back, bring it back. If you want to keep it, keep it. If you want to share it with somebody, share it with somebody. Also, I'm trying to put together a list of speakers over the next 6 months. So this way here we can publicize it in our local media. Okay, so if you've got any ideas for speakers, let me know. I'm speaking now to the people at Steamboat Institute. They're going to send a speaker who's now the president of Steamboat Institute. Her name is Manley or Manning or something like that. So I'm trying to put together some ideas for speakers. So if there's anything, please reach out to me. Give me a call and say, Rich, reach out to this person if they're interested. Rob?
The website for our county party is jeffcorepublicans.com.
Okay. All right.
Jeffco
Officially, the meeting's over. If you want to
Thank
hang
you,
around
guys.
and speak or do anything, whatever. And I know Rich wants to take the leftovers pizzas home. So,
If I had a gun. Thank you, guys.